Hi VC, Mark here at Create.Diggers.of.the.worldunite. It's been a while. I've had quite a lot going on this last few months. I've not really had a chance to do any videos, but I couldn't resist having a go at Alan the Static Traveller's If I Were God thread. So I'm going to get straight into it anyway. So Alan's put together 9 questions asking what we would do if we were God. So first question, a record you would improve by removing or added a track. So yeah, I'm going to go with Pink Floyd, Gummer, and the track in question is going to be the second track on side 3, which is several species of small furry creatures gathered together in a cave and grooving with a Pict. If you know the song, you know what I'm talking about. It's essentially what it says. It's just like a bunch of what sound like small furry creatures whittering away in an echoey environment that sounds not unlike a cave, with some guy speaking in an ancient Scottish dialect. Yeah, I mean, when I first heard this, well, I got this album back in, probably I was in my late teens, early 20s, and it was a time when me and my friends were spending probably more time in, should we say, sort of chemically altered states. And I think in that context, it kind of works, you know, it's certainly got something. But the novelty quickly wears off, and to be honest, I know Pink Floyd have been on the cutting edge of experimental music, but it's probably just one experiment too far. I can't listen to it. In fact, this is probably the only Floyd album I've got on CD, purely so that I can actually skip that track. Yeah, it's not great. Otherwise, really good album. So yeah, that's Pink Floyd, several species of blah, 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 blah. Next question. Record by an artist you would resurrect from the dead. For this one, this is the guy that I was introduced to probably 30 years ago, and I really enjoyed what I heard, but I didn't really pursue him any further. I think at the time I was getting into various different bands and different types of music, and then a few years ago I watched a documentary on Nick Drake on YouTube. I absolutely loved his voice. It kind of took me back to when I first heard it, and I thought, yeah, that's the guy I'm going to have to a little bit more discovery on. So yeah, I've got his albums, absolutely fantastic, really amazing voice, amazing lyrics. Unfortunately, his life was cut short when he took his own life back in 1974. But yeah, of the 3 albums that he did do, I would probably pick Pink Moon. I mean, all 3 albums absolutely fantastic, but this one I particularly enjoy listening to. So that's Nick Drake's Pink Moon. Show a record you'd obliterate from the face of the earth, erasing all memory of its existence. For me, that's a bit of a no-brainer. This is a band I absolutely hate. The banding, it's actually Status Quo. They've done nothing for me. Absolutely, they're just. I could pick one of. I've got about 4 albums, so if I dislike them that much, why have I got 4 albums? I hear you say. Well, so a couple of years ago, I was in a charity shop in St Anne's, which, if you don't know, it's kind of to the left of Blackpool, or to the right if you're swinging from Ireland. Yeah, I was in a charity shop there, and I picked up a bunch of Quo albums for, I think I got about 4 or 5 albums for just less than a tenner. Now the first one was the first album, which I actually quite liked. So when they did that 60s kind of psych hippie sound, like Pictures of Matchstick Man, I didn't mind that. It was when they latched onto the 12-bar blues and then just dined out on it for the next, I don't know, God knows how many decades. It does nothing, it's just shit. Anyway, one of the other bands I picked up was actually, it was Rock Till You Drop, I think. It was basically, it's on a Vertigo Swirl, and that's one reason why I was happy to pick that record up, not because it's a Status Quo album, but that's the one and only time I've actually picked up a Vertigo Swirl record in a charity shop. And I think they did actually do 3 albums that were put out on the Vertigo Swirl, that being one of them. So that's, yeah, I was quite happy to get that one. But anyway, I picked up the 4 albums, 5 albums that it was, took them on, and I thought, you know what, I got them for less than a tenner. I'm going to choose to like Status Quo. Yeah, it's almost like the musical equivalent of Pascal's Wager. I thought, I've got these records, I'm going to play them. I'm going to make myself against Status Quo. And I just couldn't get past the first side. They do nothing for me. They've done nothing of any me. They're just crap. So yeah, of the 4 records I've got, I will just pick one at random, and I would go for this one, Rocking All Over the World. Next up, show a record displaying the power of nature. I've gone with Michael Schenker Group, Assault Attack. What better depiction of nature than I mean, forget the fact that Michael Schenker's there holding his Gibson Flying V. It's the volcanic eruption in the background that is nature in all its splendour. Yeah, I don't think you can quite beat the power of nature, or rather you can't beat a volcanic eruption for one of nature's most incredible shows on Earth. So there you go, Michael Schenker, Assault Attack. Now then, yeah, this was an interesting one. Which three musicians would you Frankenstein together to produce a super musician? Right, so, first off, I'm going to go with Friar Francis. This guy got such a gentle voice with his acoustic guitar strumming away. Very reminiscent. If you remember children's TV programs in the 70s, there was one called Handful of Songs. He wouldn't be out of place on there. Maybe lose the monk gowns and stuff, but other than that, he's got a really pleasant, gentle voice, and you know he's does some good tunes on it. You know, One Day at a Time, My Best Friend. Sometimes, yeah, it's quite, you know, and he's the friar, so it's, you know, I've got some thematic continuity there. You know, it kind of fits in with the theological nature of the thread. So I'm going to go for Francis, Friar Francis for his dulcet tones, and I'm going to combine that with the poetic prose of G.G. Allen. Yeah, so you know we'll have Francis Friar singing, you know, fused with G.G. Allen, and I'm going to combine that with the stage presence of Elvis Presley, and I think that it kind of works quite well in, well, works in my head. Probably the best place for it, to be honest. But that's Friar Francis, G.G. Allen, and Elvis Presley. Show a record by male artist and one female artist you'll save from the end of the world to entertain you in heaven forever. So for female artists, I'm going to go with Melanie Safka. I absolutely love her voice, and this is such a fantastic album. You know, she has that kind of voice that can go from kind of sweet, gentle sounding to just really belting it out. She's got a fantastic voice on her, and this has got all the songs on it. You know, Candles in the Rain, Lay Down. It's also got, see, last year when Nick Rudo did a contest where he had to name, was it 10 cover versions that you thought were better than the original. The one that I missed off that I meant to include but didn't was Melanie's version of Ruby Tuesday. I'm not a huge Stones fan to begin with, but I just listening to her sing Ruby Tuesday, I'd quite happily listen to that for eternity. It wouldn't bother me in the slightest. Fantastic voice. And the male artist I'm going to go with is Neil Young, and I'm going to go with his World album. It's not just one of my favourite Neil Young live albums, it's one of my favourite live albums of all time. Love this album, love Neil Young. I love the version of Crime in the City on this, is just phenomenal. And it's one of the few songs I do prefer the live version to the studio version. But yeah, another one I could quite happy, have no problem at all spending eternity listening to both Neil Young and Melanie Safka. Show a record. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Show a record which depicts one of the 7 deadly sins. So I'm going to go with Napalm Death and Scum, and it depicts, you know, corporate greed. You know, we kind of see, you know, there's captains of industry there standing above starving children, and it kind of depicts the depth of corporate greed. Sadly, nothing's changed. You know, 40 million children worldwide are still starving to death in the same world where multi-millionaires and multi-billionaires are allowed to exist. But hey, never mind. So yeah, I'm going to go with Napalm Death and Scum. Show a record from an artist you would assign to hell for musical crimes against humanity. This is a difficult one because obviously I've got quite a few records and they're by people that I like, and it's bands of music that I like. So to find one that I would consign to hell for crimes against music was a bit of a tall order. However, I did come up with one. I'm going to go with Gary Glitter's I Love You Love. Now, obviously, there are a number of reasons why Gary Glitter should be assigned to the pits of hell. Well, those aside, we'll try and concentrate on his musical contribution. Yeah, again, if my brother's watching this, he's going to call me a hypocrite, because when I was a kid back in the 70s, I absolutely loved Gary Glitter. I couldn't get enough of him. And I remember going to the dentist to get a tooth out, and my mum buying me a Gary Glitter annual for being brave. But since I've I mean, once my musical journey discovery got off to a proper start, then I realised that it's pretty shit, really. And, you know, it's really, yeah, it's not that great. It doesn't really do anything for me these days. And again, it's hard. I know a person's musical catalogue and contributions should be kept separate to the personal life, but with this guy, that's a little difficult to do. So yeah, I have no problems whatsoever sending Gary Glitter to the pits of hell. And finally, in your benevolence, which VC channel would you? I'm struggling to read my own writing. Would you bestow 1 million subscribers so they may never have to work again and indulge in all the videos ad infinitum? It cannot be your own. Right now, see, I have a problem with this. The bit about cannot be your own. Right. So if I'm a god for a day, then surely I have God's omnipotence. So therefore, who is anybody to try and bestow these earthly restrictions upon my omnipotence? If I decide it's going to be my channel, then I have spoken, I am God, it's going to be my channel. If you decide to try and challenge me on that, then you can go where Gary Glitter's gone. That said, I'm not going to choose my channel. The one I'm going to choose was probably the first vinyl community channel that I ever saw, and I absolutely loved his videos. And then around the time of the first lockdown back in March 2020, he just seemed to disappear. He didn't do a video for a long time, and then about 5 or 6 months ago, I think he did do 2 new videos in the space of 24 hours. I'm talking about Johnny Seed. If you're not familiar with his channel, check him out. I love watching his videos. He always did these, I think he lived in Preston, and he'd kind of video his walk into Preston, and going through the charity shops on Preston Market. And he was quite a funny bloke, really good taste in music, and I loved watching his videos, and I was really pleased. I think about maybe 5, 6 months ago, we only 2 new videos, and I was really pleased to see them. So yeah, that's Johnny Seed. So that's it. That's my entry for Alan Static Traveller's vinyl thread. If you were God. Thanks. See you again. Bye bye.